Are you welcome back? Well, let's even build a background to the political party primaries recently conducted in and across the country. Well, political parties primaries ought to serve as the foundation of representative democracy, providing political parties the opportunity to select candidates who will fly their flags in various elective positions. Guided by the Electoral Act and the regulations of the Independent Electoral Commission (IDEC), parties adopted different methods, including direct primaries, indirect primaries, and consensus arrangements to produce their candidates. The primaries have generated significant interest across the country, producing both expected outcomes and surprising developments. In the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress retained incumbent president, the person of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as its presidential flag bearer following the party's primary process. Among opposition parties, the political landscape remained dynamic. Reports indicate that the Social Democratic Party nominated Adewale Adebayo. The People's Redemption Party chose Donald Duke. The APM, Governor Seyi Makinde. Of course, African Democratic Party choose Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. The African Action Congress, the AAC, returned Omoyele Sowore as its flag bearer, while the NDC chose Peter Obi. At the same time, opposition parties continued discussions on possible alliances and prospects of representing a united front against the ruling party, adding another layer of intrigue to the road towards 2026. Tonight on OKERE, we will examine the conduct of the primaries, the transparency of the process, the emergence of candidates, controversies surrounding delegates selection and consensus arrangement, and what the outcomes mean for Nigerian political future. We'll also assess the strengths and weaknesses of the various flag bearers and discuss how the primaries may shape the battle for power in the 2027 general elections. Joining me to have this conversation is Barrister Kingdom OKERE, a political analyst, and he will be helping us put all of these issues in perspective. But first, it's a delight to have you join us on OKERE. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much, presenter. Thank you. Good evening, Abuja. Good evening, Nigeria, wherever you're watching from.
Well, Barrister Kingdom, a lot of expectations were high, even for the party primaries. But let's even begin by looking at the party primaries in general. Walk us through what your assessment of the various party primaries that has been conducted so far.
Well, so far, party primaries, let's begin with the foundation of party primaries and what it means. Nigerians really don't understand the powers the 1999 Constitution has conferred on political parties. Political parties are so powerful to the extent that any type of government you have today in Nigeria is a product of political parties. So if political parties, by the fact that the Constitution has made it mandatory that it's only political parties, that can present a candidate, to run for political office by Section 221 of the 1999 Constitution, So political parties are so powerful to the extent that if all the political parties in Nigeria select moron or vegetable or imbecile, or corrupt individual, if all of them select these classes of persons that I have just mentioned, so it means that across board Nigerians have choice to make between the 10 imbeciles. Let's assume it's 10 political parties. I think we have up to 22 political parties.
21,
so if the 21 political parties select imbecile, vegetables, corrupt leaders, or corrupt politicians, so it means that Nigerians only have opportunity to elect one of those people that political parties has put forward as their candidates, to elect as their leader. And that person that you eventually emerge as your leader, will not control your destiny for the next 4 years. That is how powerful political parties are. And political parties, that is the major program of every political party, is to sponsor candidates for elective political office. If they win, they form the government, and control that government for the next 4 years. That is the most important and the basic function of every political party. So what the political parties are doing now is they are season of political primaries and selection of candidates. So what they are doing now is they are performing their basic, and their most important constitutional function, under our present constitutional democracy. And assessing what they have done so far, you see that there are so many fallout, bickering. Most of the political parties, have not lived up to their expectations, in terms of giving all the candidates, level playing ground, in terms of ensuring that they select, credible candidates. By the way, a former minister, that was recently sacked from President Bola Tinubu's government because of certificate forgery, and I know it's also in the news that the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, confirmed that the minister, the certificate he paraded, was not issued officially, by the University of Nigeria. So I learned that one of the parties, I think the PDP, has also elected that former minister as the Guba candidate in one of the states in the southeast. So you find out that the political parties, this is their season of performing their most important constitutional function, and what we have witnessed so far is crisis here and there, corruption, transactional politics, ticket racketeering, and which regrettably, one of the newly formed political parties, and even where my own political party, we are vying, to emerge as a candidate for the federal constituency, so they were not also exonerated, from these undemocratic practices. They didn't live up to expectation as people expected. But then it's a new political party. Just consider as maybe one of those two-teen problems, of course a child, would have to pass through those stages of life, we just give them the benefit of that, that they would, do the right thing. And I know that currently they are meeting, the stakes are very high, they've realized that, and they are on the verge of doing the right thing. So we'll consider what we witnessed in the NDC, recently, just over the weekend, during the primaries of that party. We just consider it to be a two-team problem. What I'm saying is that general assessment.
Let's to interject at this point. Let's talk about. Let's take an historical perspective of the primaries that we've had from 1999. We had just 3 major political parties. To what we have right now, 21 political parties. And the process, the Electoral Act right now, looking at all of these instrumentality of law put together. The party primaries are designed to be the first and perhaps most important test of democratic culture. Looking at the party primaries just conducted, can we see that this is a triumph for democracy?
It cannot totally be. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that all the party primaries across all the political parties, they have issues. I said there are crises here and there are complaints here and there. I said across board, across all the political parties, there is this issue of ticket racketeering, undemocratic practices, the party not being able to give all the aspirants level playing grounds, as to the process of selecting who emerges as a.
So can we say that this is largely an institutional crisis at the heart of the
institutional crisis? The political parties, like we are 2-3 people come together to seek to register an association, a political association, as a political party. That association remains an association until it is issued a certificate of registration by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And of course, that when the Independent National Electoral Commission issues certificate of registration to political associations, they become artificial legal entities. So it is still the human beings, that have gathered together to register that association as a political party, that we now, under the umbrella of that political party that has now been given artificial legal entity, upon INEC recognition that they have fulfilled all the constitutional and statutory provisions, and the INEC now issued a certificate of registration as political party. The political party, quote and unquote, is an artificial element. It is still the individual human beings, that are the actors. So you now find out that what the things you are witnessing in the political parties are the characteristics or the characters of the people, of the actors, of the individual, the personalities that are in that political party. The political party does not have a hand, the head, the brain. It is still the members of the political party, the leaders of the political party that are the eye, the brain, the nose, through which the political party see, breathe, the brain through which the political party, exercises its constitutional functions, to select candidates that they will feature for election. So that's what I'm saying. What we're witnessing in the political parties' primaries are a reflection of the characters of the people, of the leaders, that are now members of those political parties. And if you look at all these political parties, they still remain the same crop of Nigerian politicians, that have at one time or the other moved or jumped from one political party to another, and it's as if they are all repentant, about on their individual characters, in going about their political activities. That is why you see similar thing in party A, you see it in party B, you see it in party C. It's a reflection of the individuals that are members of that political party. It's a reflection of the corruption in Nigeria.
Mr. Kingdom, there's one narrative that tends to be dominant even across all political parties right now, 21 political parties, and that dominant narrative is the disagreement over outcome of the
primary elections.
Now, aspirants who participated in the process have openly rejected results. Party officials have issued conflicting declarations. Multiple candidates have emerged from the same contest. There have even been allegations of manipulation, exclusion, intimidation, and procedural irregularities, which have become even a commonplace, even in the primaries. Yeah. But help us understand if the Electoral Act has been amended to address some of this concern, and yet we're still having a recurring phenomenon and a common decimal factor. What we've been having from 1999 till date, it's just a recurring phenomenon. We're saying at this point that the Electoral Act in itself is docile.
The Electoral Act is not docile. Of course, you see, the Electoral Act was just recently amended, and even the president, neither even the president nor the attorney general, read through the Electoral Act before it was assented into law. The president quickly assented the Electoral Act into law, and less than 24 hours after the Akpabio-led National Assembly, proposed the abracadabra, they proposed, in the name of Electoral Act, where they expunged several vital, and constitutionally compliant sections of the 2022 Electoral Act, to protect the interests of the incumbent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has several questionable, issues, to answer as to regard to his certificate, educational qualification, as regards, his drug trafficking deal and all that. So Akpabio did Nigerians a lot of disservice, So they quickly packaged, the Kangaroo Electoral B 2026, and the president quickly assented to it, and I personally have criticized the Attorney General of the Federation, for abdicating in his constitutional responsibility as the chief law officer that should have advised the president. First of all, the Electoral Act should have passed through him, through the clerk of the National Assembly, after it has been harmonized by the two chambers, through the clerk to the president, through the Attorney General, who will read through it and advise the president. So what I'm saying is that the Electoral Act 2026 that was quickly signed into law is there as an act. And in one of my legal jurisprudential submissions, I have defined laws as inchoate, that these laws that are in our statute book are just there. People have a choice to either obey them or not obey them. They become full-blown laws when they are given judicial interpretation.
So,
what I'm saying in essence is that the Electoral Act is there. So whether or not the politicians are complying with the provisions of the Electoral Act, or whether or not the Electoral Act was so carefully, amended, to prevent some of the irregularities that we witnessed in the past, is for Nigerians to now text it as a result of the aftermath of the primary elections, like the things you read out, the bycurrents, the conflicting results, the corruption, ticket racketeering, like I have said. So it still boils down to my previous submission that the political parties are artificial creation of the law, that it is the individuals in those political parties that are the actors. It is the individuals, the leaders of those political parties that are the brain, the eye, the nose, through which the political party sees, through which the political party brings. So what you are witnessing is still the exhibition of the corrupt, nature of Nigerian politicians, who are now scattered in various political parties, moving from party A to party B, from party B to party C. So the name of the political party does not change their characteristics as corrupt politicians, as demagogues, as crude politicians. It doesn't change them. So it is either you as a human being decide to purge yourself of the crude nature of politicking, or you decide to remain, who you are and what you are in terms of politicking. So the name of the party, or changing one political party, or changing from one political party or another, does not change the system. If you still have the same actors, the same characters, who were at one time in one or two political parties, and now they are in another political party, perhaps a newly registered political party, it cannot and does not change the outcome or the characters of the people until the politicians themselves decide to do the right thing. So that's what I'm saying.
Records have shown that another thing that characterized these whole primaries is the issues around membership record and party administration. Of course, for a lot of party members, they said they were unable to participate in various primaries. While some were promised a very luxurious future, once they decamp to certain political parties, they will be given certain mandates. But they were disappointed. Now, looking at all of this, could this flaw become the biggest threat to the credibility of the 2027 general elections?
I don't see the credibility of the 2027 general election begins with the political parties, their candidates. If the candidates are emerged through credible, free, fair contest or by consensus, but I know it's just one or two parties that are able to reach consensus. Not even the ruling party, was able to reach consensus at all, across board. So the credibility of the election, yes, definitely the way and manner the candidates emerge, at the various primaries of the political parties will go to a larger extent to determine the credibility of the election. But then the larger, if you look, we'll take it from a broader perspective, so the credibility of the election will be dependent on how the Independent National Electoral Commission, decides to conduct the election in a way and manner that is transparent enough, in a way and manner that Nigerians will themselves believe that yes, this election, is to a reasonable extent, credible. By the way, manner conducts themselves.
I'm asking that question, Barrister. I'm asking that question because we saw what played out in Lagos State, Sulere Constituency 1, where Desmond Elliott, at the primary ground, he complained about irregularities, and as such, he discontinued the process that is no longer contesting. And that's just on one hand. We've seen what has played out even in Delta State. We saw what played out in Delta State and few other states in the country right now. Now, a lot of issues are begging for answer. A lot of parties members are saying people that the party ticket is being handed over to right now are not even members of the party. Take, for example, the NDC in Abuja, the likes of Aisha, who say that she's a card-carrying member of the party. But then party members also said that she's not recognized in the party. In such a situation, can we say at this point that the candidates that are being produced, that is being produced by this election, are actually the will of the party members?
Like I said previously, that the outcome of the primary elections, it's a replication of the individual characters, in those parties.
So you say, if we bring it back to NDC, you're saying that NDC does not have people with credibility.
Almost 90% of them are not. I'm vying for a federal constituency under the NDC. This party asks us to collect expression of interest for 2 million naira. And we paid and collected. I'm talking to my federal constituency, 13 of us collected it. And after the screening and all that, in fact, the screening even took us almost 4 days. They could not even organize a seamless screening exercise, like screening exercise to look at people's credentials, look at your academic qualifications, and ask you relevant questions as to what do you intend to do in the National Assembly. Just 1 or 2 brilliant questions, after looking at your credentials. That should be the most important thing. We are in this country where a governor that won an election in Bayelsa State lost his seat because the deputy he nominated parade fake certificate. After that, for 4 days, NDC could not even organize ordinary seamless screening. Candidates were almost 1,000 of us had to suffer at a very little venue at Protea Hotel at Jabi Lake, before, like, it was after the 3rd day when the national chairman came and he was amazed, was perplexed as to the level of hardship, and struggle, that aspirants were subjected to, that they now got a bigger hall, close to the venue. So what I'm saying that 90% of them, of the members of the National Escort that were there before P2B joined, they are not, they've shown themselves not to be credible, and that they cannot be trusted. These people are going about telling some aspirants to pay 10 million naira. This 10 million naira is not a condition for collecting expression of interest from. It's not a condition to participate in the primary election. And they're not telling you that it is the people that pay 10 million naira that the ticket has been reserved for. The party could have as well, if they are men of, if they are intelligible enough, or if they are experienced party managers, what is stop them from saying that our expression of interest form is 12 million? Keep there, people buy expression of interest form, and they show you organize credible election. Now that the Electoral Act has made it mandatory that is by direct primary, that means everybody go and mobilize their supporters that should be carried members of NDC, and they queue and you count it, and the winner emerges, So they go about extorting people. 10 million. Those that are running for Senate were asked to pay 20 million, governor 20 million, and they were promised that once you pay this money outside the official expression of interest form that is received, this money is not received. They call it party support, and that party support is an inducement to get the ticket of the party. And I said, no, it's criminality, it's an inducement. It's duress. You can't tell somebody under duress to go and pay 10 million for Senate or governor, and 20 million for Senate or governor, and 10 million for House of Representatives as an inducement to get the ticket. But no member of the NDC
spoke out on this.
I spoke out. It's spreading on the media. Haven't you seen it? You are
just one.
Yes, because I'm an activist. Because they are all afraid.
Means that every member of the NDC is comfortable with the process.
They are all afraid. If today some people protested at the home of Seraki Diskin, we follow. They are all afraid, So I'm an activist. I'm a lawyer. I'm a practicing lawyer. Even if I'm in the National Assembly, I will still go to court. I'm not that kind of politician. I'm not a conventional politician. I'm into politics because I believe that we should be in the National Assembly to move the right motion, to make the right laws that will give us a new Nigeria. I am not going to the National Assembly because I don't have anything doing. I'm not that kind of politician. I'm not. I don't even want to be identified as a politician. I like to be identified as an activist. So there's no law that prohibits an activist from taking part, because our constitution has made it mandatory that there's no private nomination. You cannot nominate yourself and go for election. You must run under a political party. That is why we have to join political parties. If not, I would go for as an independent candidate because I don't want to be associated with politicians and what they do. So what I'm telling you, I told them that if I emerge as the candidate of the party through a free, fair, credible primary election, that I'm going to support the party with 50 million, not even 10 million. But if you want me to pay this money first, as a condition precedent, as an inducement, what you're doing is inducement. And now, okay, in my constituency, 5 people paid this 10 million. 5 people paid, in addition to the 2 million expression of interest form, which is the official expression of interest, that which is what qualifies you to participate in the primary election. 13 people collected it, the expression of interest form, and 5 people paid this 10 million. So among the 5 people that paid the 10 million, who are you going to give the ticket? You just extorted people, and all of them are angry. So what I'm saying is that most people that paid, they are angry, they are afraid because they are conventional politicians and they think their life ends with NDC ticket. So they are afraid that if you speak out, the party will disqualify you or the party will expel you. That is nonsense. Even the party will have even more trouble when they disqualify me or when they expel me. That matter, I rest assure you, can only be settled in the Supreme Court. That you even disqualify me or expel me before speaking out. In addition to the abracadabra, the extortion, the ticket racketeering you have done in the name of organizing a primary election, that will even double the case. So I will speak out because that is the highest thing you could do.
I would have thought that the likes of Peter Obi,
that's what I'm saying.
Would like
no. If you don't
look for like the likes of A, automatically the system will be
strengthened. They know him already. Yeah. They know him. They know he's such
yes.
They know him.
With his antecedent, the procedures are still not
the leadership of the party, that is the reason now. The leadership of the party knows Peter Obi that it's not the man that will come and start imposing anything to say, these are my people, give this person ticket, this guy person ticket. He believed that they are human beings. These people are party officials before he came in. When he came in, unlike Atiku Abubakar and, of course, Peter Obi joined ADC in January. So Atiku Abubakar and some of his partners, they have joined ADC like April 2025. Peter Obi only joined in December 2025. So when Atiku Abubakar them joined ADC, they felt what they should do is to suspend and remove all the officers of the party. No, Peter Obi doesn't believe in that. That was what he did with the Labour Party. He worked with the people he met there. So when he didn't remove Julius Abure or any member of the ESCO, so when he joined the NDC, he believed that these people are Nigerians and these people are the national escorts of this party. They are managing this party before I joined. So he doesn't see any reason why he would ask that let's change the official. He said no. So he believes that these people are mature enough to know the right thing to do. Shouldn't they know the right thing to do?
So Barrister,
the national chairman, the national chairman, I like this, a former senator. The national secretary is a lawyer of almost 30 years. So are they not qualified to manage the party?
Barrister, going by the candidates.
I just want to summarize.
Please summarize.
So they know that Peter Obi is that kind of a person that will join your party and would not want to start imposing anything. He would lead you to your good conscience and your good knowledge. He believes that you know the right thing to do. And unfortunately, that is what he did. He believed that these party officials that were there before I came in, there's no need to ask that they should go, and there's no need to impose anything on them. He believes that they know the right thing to do, but unfortunately, they are proven not to know what to do. Rather, they now want to leverage on a man's personality, on Peter Obi's popularity that brought about the surge, the massive number of aspirants. They now want to leverage on his personality to extort Nigerians. That's exactly what they did. In fact, one person, Evangelist Gray, that is contesting OKERE, even in senatorial zone, paid he paid the 20 million donation for Senate. He collected his expression of interest from, I think it's 5 million for Senate. He also gave some other appreciation, money to the national chairman, which is not official, the national secretary. In fact, he told me
we don't have that reference. We don't.
I'm telling you what he told me. I am his lawyer. I'm drafting his suit.
All right.
So I'm just telling you.
I just wanted to put this in perspective.
Yes. So I'm his lawyer. I have the facts. He has disclosed the fact to me. Then the suit we are drafting. So he told me, he narrated all this into, and now the person they even want to give the Senate, what the federal constituency, did not even pay the 20 million. So they just see people that are eager to come and collect the ticket, and they just tell them, pay 10 million, pay 20 million, and those people pay. That is extortion. The person they want to give the ticket in Igbo East now, one former member of the House of Representatives, I don't want to call his name, he knows himself, he didn't pay the 20 million because he doesn't have it to pay. He doesn't have 20 million to pay. If he doubts me, let him show me evidence of paying 20 million that Evangelist Gray paid into the party account. So if the party was being truthful, so the ticket should have gone to the man, who donated the 20 million, party support. That's what they are calling it. And I'm saying that the party is entitled under their own constitution and under the Electoral Act to collect support from members. But that support shouldn't come when people are vying for tickets. You now tell them, go and pay 10 million, go and pay 20 million. If you support the party, we'll give you ticket. It's inducement. It's ticket racketeering.
Barrister,
when candidates emerge, they can willingly, freely donate to the party. That's what I'm telling you. And I've told them before.
Barrister, let's talk about the candidates in this election. Now, you're saying that there have been a lot of inducement. So far, there have been an extortion. Well, that's on the part of the NDC. Is this a generic thing within the Nigerian body politics as it stands right now? Or is it just within the NDC?
Like I told you, I said, what you are seeing in political parties, because the parties are artificial legal entities, it is still the human beings that are the actors in the party.
So automatically,
so it's the human beings,
we are going to be
NDC does not,
automatically, NDC, so automatically the candidates that will be presented. So you're saying at this point in time, if it's a generic thing, they automatically
it's generic, and Nigerian politicians have the tendency to be corrupt. Nigerian politicians have the tendency to be corrupt. That is why I don't want to be identified as a politician.
Inductively, you're saying.
I don't want to be identified as a politician.
You're saying at this point.
Call me as an activist that want to be participate in government.
So you're saying at this point.
Because I believe that if I participate, I can have the right in government, not talking from outside. Assuming you have been in the National Assembly where they are amending this 2022 electoral
so,
act, you think I would have made a positive impact?
You are saying at this point that there is a tendency
for Nigerian politicians
will be having
corrupt,
unqualified, unprepared candidates.
Yes, and they plenty now
for the running for
several
2027
across all political parties, because of either godfatherism or because of financial inducement, maybe improperly conducted fraud in conducting the primary election, selecting the candidate. Of course, under this current electoral act, it can only be direct primary. That is, all card-carrying members of the party have to queue and vote, or by consensus. And that consensus is another question of law until the court, from the Federal High Court to Court of Appeal to Supreme Court, give us a definition of what the consensus is. What you have in the Electoral Act 2026 is just an inchoate law. It's just there. It's an evolving law until it is given judicial interpretation. So if you say consensus, it is only the court that will not say what is consensus. You see, among the aspirants that have expressed interest on that to contest the position, is it consensus among party members? It is only the court that will give us that definition, and that is what we call novel question of law. It's a question of law that will be coming to the court, either for the first time, or maybe it came to court before, but maybe it has not taken prominence, jurisprudentially. And then let's watch until the matter is litigated.
You're saying there is already a legal battle cooking up.
I've already served a pre-action notice to the party. And what even angered me, why I even addressed the press, was that when I got to the party, the secretary to the chairman told me to my face that the chairman has instructed them not to receive any petition or any appeal from anybody again. Can you imagine that level of impunity?
But then the constitution of the NDC,
like the party, the guideline of the party stipulates that you have right of appeal
after you finish exhausting internal party mechanism.
That is it.
Before approaching the court. You've not exhausted even the party.
How will you exhaust it
before going to court?
How will you exhaust it when the party has told the secretary not to receive your petition or your complaint? So how will you exhaust it? So you wait for the 14 days to elapse. And of course, that is even what most aspirants don't know. And I don't want to say it here. If maybe they should come and consult me and pay for consultancy, I won't say it. So if they like, they sleep on their right. So they will just be doing all this. 1 week is gone already. Before you know it, the action becomes a statute bar. So but we can't be caught by that statute bar. We're already aware of it.
Well, Barrister, for once we saw large turnouts across various constituencies across the Federal Capital Territory, coming out even across Nigeria, coming out to give support to their candidates. Looking at the emerging candidate across the political spectrum, are Nigerians witnessing a genuine democratic competition or carefully managed succession plans?
Of course, the democracy is also improving gradually, irrespective of the key challenges we're having. The key challenges we're having is bad governance, lack of political will at the highest level of governance, to tackle, some of the most pressing problems, Nigerians have, like insecurity, like hunger, like hardship, which is as a result of the fuel subsidy removal, abrupt removal without any plan, without understanding, the situation, just at the Eagle Square in a inaugural speech, and you decide to say fuel subsidy is gone, like to say you are not, to show your level of being uninformed, So, and you can see that since that statement was made, Nigeria has now remained the same again. So what I'm saying is that democracy is improving. We are seeing some level of improvement. Of course, we also have several other challenges. So I cannot say that we're not making progress. We are gradually making progress, and that is why people like us, think that the progress we made, between 1999, got to its peak, in 2011 when Jonathan was in office. And of course, Jonathan, while he was complaining, for the 2011 presidential election, told Nigerians not to allow this APC to throw us backward. And of course, what we witnessed is that APC threw us backwards. We made reasonable level of progress in terms of democracy. We witnessed an election where the president did not intervene, as opposed to what is the current situation under the APC-led government. I know very well that Yakubu Mahmood himself, wherever he is ashamed of himself. The money, whatever Tinubu offered him to declare him the winner of the 2020 presidential election by 3 a.m. when Nigerians were still sleeping, I know that money he's eating it and he's not happy.
Well,
he's not happy.
Let's allege.
Yakubu Mahmood can sue me. I'm calling him an electoral bandit.
Let's allege.
Yakubu Mahmood, I'm talking to you.
We don't have the
video.
We don't have the
and
facts.
I believe this is live on YouTube. You can sue me. You are an electoral bandit. You criminally declared Tinubu the winner of the 2023 election, and you've not told us what you are given by Tinubu to declare. So wherever you are, I know that whatever he made from INEC, I say eating it is purging you. I'm talking to him. This man put us in this mess. So I'm telling you, see, that is why, as I am here now, I don't do government contract. You can't trace any element, any atom of corruption on me. And that's why I tell you, I'm not a politician. So this man is an electoral bandit that sold our mandate to an electoral bandit, which is the incumbent president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself.
Choice of words. It's choice of words, Barrister.
Choice of words. You people have the NBC monitoring you. NBC should also sometimes.
Let's go by the choice of words.
NBC should also listen.
Let's move on.
NBC, Nigeria Broadcasting Commission.
Let's move on, Barrister.
Sometimes they should also leave the station alone and face the individual. They can punish the individual.
Barrister, let's look.
It shouldn't be your choice.
The outcome of
so what
the
I'm saying is that this country we must fix it.
Let's look at the outcome of the election in general. If you want to scale up, you want to put the whole primaries in a scale and the outcome that we've seen so far, in a scale of 1 to 10, where will you place the outcome right now with what we're seeing?
Scale of 1 to 10, APC, because of God.
No, not just APC.
I want to tell for the ruling party.
Okay, please go ahead.
The ruling party, scale of 1 to 10, because they are the ruling party, they have governors. So, like, there's leadership at that level. So, and that leadership at that level is influenced by godfatherism, who the governor favors, who the commissioner that a governor has appointed, who he favors in his constituency, so godfatherism, like in my language they say a papa, that political bag, you don't carry political bag, have you served? Are you understanding me? So by level of 1 to 10, APC, I will score them like 7 because of the incumbency issue. They are party in power, the governors are in charge, so their party primary is influenced by godfatherism, who is the governor's choice, who is the president's choice. So by level of 1 to 10, 8, they were peaceful. Because if the president say no, this person is going, like take for instance for Lagos State, president say Hamza is going, I don't see any member of APC raising any contrary opinion. Not even the sitting governor. So level of 1 to 10, that leadership is there because of power of their government in power. Like in my state, the governor said this person is going. Level of 1 to 10, maybe 1 or 2 former governors too that want to rub shoulders with the incumbent governor, will be the ones challenging what the governor will want to do. So at that level, is determined by godfatherism and loyalty. That is for incumbents. For PDP, I will score them like 5. Their own factional PDP, after the Supreme Court judgment that nullified the Ibadan Convention, the Wike faction, which is also an affiliation of APC, they are fully in charge of the party. So it's also dependent on who that faction wants, who is loyal to them, and who is Wike's choice of candidacy. So I've scored them 5 at that level. Because you don't even go there to waste your time to want to clinch their tickets when you know that you are not loyal to Wike faction. Nobody even dare do that. You are going there to waste your money. So level of 1 to 10, they are 5% peaceful, based on those that are loyal to the Wike faction and those Wike wants to be where they ought to be. And then other NDC, ADC, Atiku Abubakar, of course you see Rotimi Amechi complaining, Hayatuddin complaining, that Atiku financially induced the states, I saw it on the news, but I didn't really pay attention to know the figure, that the amount of dollar that Atiku allegedly gave to each state chapter of ADC, to deliver the primary for him. And that was why Peter B left. Peter B knows that I cannot put 10 kobo on the table to get your ticket, because if I do that, he might be tempted, to compromise, the new Nigeria he's promising. So you can't go and get a ticket, by way of financial inducement.
So if you want to put it in general, because of time constraint.
So
let's stop in NDC. Let's stop in NDC. Let's stop because of time constraint. Let's stop.
NDC now. Let me give them maybe 1 to 4. Fine.
NDC.
Then NDC. 1 to 10, I'll give them 1. Well, and that one,
it's your
on their presidential candidacy. Only Peter B collected from. For that one is 1 to 10. I give them 10. There's no financial inducement, and of course, even before Peter B declared membership, they know he was not going to give 10 kobo. So they already know that was already settled. So, but for other seats, House of Assembly. National, as I'm talking to you, do you know that the Imo State chairman of NDC did not even know where the forms for National Assembly members were sold? His signature is not there. In fact, any candidate of NDC in Imo State for the House of Assembly that emerges victorious, let me not say it for other parties not to know. If you win that election will be voided. Because the state chairman did not sign their nomination and the special.
We'll find time to talk about.
Because a cabal.
Barrister Kingdom, I'm being signaled that our time is fast spent.
It's okay.
I see that you're very particular about Imo State and the NDC. We'll find time to talk about that. But it's at least I want to say thank you so much, Barrister Kingdom, for finding out time to do this with us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewer, this is how far we can go on OKERE. Do not forget that you can leave your thoughts, you can leave your comments on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen, and you can also download the RapidTV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. To enjoy the rest of your night rest. Bye for now.